Peace, peace, peace. I am Phillip Roundtree, founder of Quadefy LLC, and this is another Wednesday Wellness. This one's a little different this week, where I discuss a question that I always get. Phil, what is it like being depressed? In particular, Phil, what is it like being a black man who's depressed and who has anxiety? And often, I really don't know what to say or how to respond. You know, I can typically go over symptoms and various things, but because I'm not actually in that moment when they ask me, it's kind of difficult for me to relay that information so they can truly understand. But here I am right now in the midst of being in a depressive state. And I felt that it was important for me to make this video because I feel like I can articulate what's actually occurring while I'm in this state as opposed to when I'm not. So people would just have a general understanding of what it's like to be depressed. And not only because I'm a black man, but just somebody in general who lives with depression and anxiety day in and day out. And so first, in this world where we're asked to achieve something every day, especially now in the age of social media, it's like we have to keep up with our accolades have to be on par with everybody else's. So that means when we wake up, we have to have a goal that we have to achieve, And in the event that you don't achieve it, it may affect your wellness, your well-being, how people perceive you. And so with that, when I woke up, I had things that I wanted to achieve for my business. I wanted to make send some emails. I wanted to make some phone calls. I wanted to handle some other business. But when I woke up, I immediately knew that today wasn't going to be the day where these things get accomplished. Now, yes, I could force myself to accomplish these things, but I knew in my depressed state that in the event that it didn't happen and I put this pressure on myself, then I could slip further into depression, and it can linger longer than it maybe needs to. And so what I did was, and what I recommend to anybody, if you are living with depression, or if you're unsure, as to what it is, but you're just experiencing this feeling that you don't feel quote unquote right, is to set goals. Because listen, accomplishing goals, it gives you a sense of accomplishment and can positively impact your mood. So for me, I set goals of getting out of bed in a timely fashion, taking a shower, getting dressed, smiling at somebody today. I set goals of, eating. Because sometimes when we get in a depressive state, that might be the furthest thing from our mind because we can be so caught up in our thoughts. And so I set those goals with hopes of, if I can achieve 1, 2, and 3, then this may help improve my overall well-being. And so it's been moderately successful. Listen, the day isn't over, but granted, I'm still here. I'm still alive. I'm still persevering, still fighting for my wellness. To describe what it is that I'm feeling, it's difficult. It's difficult. I use the comparison of Mike Tyson versus Evander Holyfield, where Mike Tyson was the favorite. Here he is. He's coming in. We know what he's going to do. He's going to hit hard. But Evander Holyfield, he ended up winning. He ended up persevering. Now, granted, disqualification. Listen, you can YouTube Mike Tyson versus Evander Holyfield, where he bit his ear off. But I feel like depression is Mike Tyson. I feel like right now I'm getting beat up. Like inside my mind, it's a constant battle that's happening. It's the depression saying, sit home, lay in the bed, feel sorry for yourself, feel down, don't eat, you're inadequate. You won't achieve what it is that you desire to achieve. And then with the anxiety component, me constantly thinking these thoughts. And then here I have Evander Holyfield decide, well, Phil, listen, you've been depressed before. You've been depressed many times over the years, and you've overcome it. You know what to do. You got to hit them with a right. Hitting them with a right means getting up, getting outside the house. Hitting them with a left, that means, listen, getting out, going to the gym, trying to do things to increase your endorphins. And so here we have this constant battle. And right now, the fact that I'm alive, the fact that I'm alive, that's a win for the good guy. That's a win for Evander Holyfield, because as we know, depression is the leading cause of suicide. And yes, I have had suicidal thoughts today because I am just in a place where that's what the depression does. But again, I know what it is that I need to do in order to progress. I know this won't be like this forever. Yes, it may be 5 minutes, it may be an hour, it may be 3 hours, and so far it's in the afternoon, so it's been persistent. But I have to be diligent in my efforts. I have to be diligent in my efforts to do things to enhance my overall wellness. And so as a black man, it's also extremely difficult because we have a lot of outside pressures that influence our wellness. It's difficult for me when I get out and I go into different settings where I might not be welcomed, or I may be welcomed, but due to historical issues and historical racism and systemic racism, where that thought automatically impacts and influences, how I proceed. So walking in the stores earlier, it's automatic. Am I being watched? Granted, do I have grounds for that? Probably not. And they were some of the nicest people. But again, we have, a lot of, historical trauma that we've experienced that plays a part in our wellness. And especially if I'm in the midst of I'm in a depressive state, these thoughts just persist and they're magnified. So typically if I go in and say, go into the Gap and somebody looks at me or, might appear to follow me, I can say, oh, they know nothing. They're just doing X, Y, and Z. But now, again, it's magnified because of this, because of the state that I'm in. And so, that goes for many situations. That goes for, the pressures of having to be a father. It's difficult. It's difficult to be a father and to be in a depressive state because I know there's responsibilities that I have to do, but it's hard for me because, again, it's this constant battling Mike Tyson, battling with what it is I know that I need to do. And sometimes in that situation, I need to focus on me. So for today, I wasn't able to spend time with my daughter as much as I would have liked to. And why? Because I wasn't in a place for that. Now, some people may look at it being selfish. I can't help how an individual may view it, but I know in order for me to, I need to be in a state where, I need to be in a mental state where I'm able to be productive. If I'm around her and I'm bringing her this energy that's going to continue to bring her down. Now, listen, this is one day. Now, if it gets to a week and multiple weeks, then we have a problem here where if I'm not able to again, spend time with her, if I'm not even able to do the things that I would like to do, accomplish goals. So it's just, again, it's about me being mindful about my mental wellness. In our community and in the black community and just society in general, because I don't, granted I am a black man, but listen, everybody experiences depression and anxiety. Everybody, especially depression, everybody experiences depression. If you ever care about someone or something, and you lose it, there's a chance you may experience situational depression, which doesn't persist. It doesn't last long, but it's there. And so, just as a man, as a black man in society, trying to persevere in spite of, hence the reason why I made this video. I feel that it's important that we get open and honest dialogue. So, it's more of people like me who's able to reach out to other individuals and let them know, listen, this is what I'm feeling. This is what I'm experiencing. And so they can feel comfortable in expressing themselves as I do. And so, if any takeaways from this video, I want you to be encouraged, especially if you're an African-American male, where only 20% of us are getting treatment, who are actively getting treatment. I want you to be encouraged. If you're a white man, if you're an Asian man, I want everybody to be encouraged and to realize that the state that you're currently in, it doesn't have to persist. It doesn't have to persist if you take the necessary steps to continue to progress. And so again, it might be something simple. We want small, attainable goals, to build up that confidence to, again, Evander Holyfield depression in the face. And so small goals are, listen, getting out of bed, making yourself something to eat, getting out, going to work, and just being as resilient as possible. I'm encouraged, it's about roughly 6 o'clock right now. I'm encouraged. I believe that at 6:01, I'm going to feel amazing. And if I'm not amazing at 6:01, at 6:10, at 6:30, at 7, I'm going to continue to believe that I possess and I'm doing everything in my power to progress. And even if it gets to the point where I'm about to go to sleep, I know if I didn't accomplish one thing today, I stayed alive. I stayed alive and I won. And so again, this isn't a typical Wellness Wednesday. It's more like a vlog type of thing, but I just felt it was critical to just hear somebody in the midst. Hear somebody in the midst. Because again, this isn't a race where it's a destination. This is just something that I'm going to continue to have to work through for the foreseeable future. So I appreciate you guys for tuning in. Again, this isn't typical, but feel free to follow me on Instagram at Phil _Quadefy. Catch me on Facebook, facebook.com/Phillip PHI2LSIP MSW, and clearly you're on YouTube because you're watching this right at the Quadefy LLC channel. Or feel free to email me. I get a lot of people who email me who with questions, or they just want to, thank me for being transparent. So if you're one of those people, feel free. Anything I can do to be a support, to be a resource for you, email me at phil@quadefy.net. Peace.